Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. In today's video we have to simplify this term here. So let's look what we have. We have three different variables which are a's, b's, and we also have here c's. And then we have some brackets, and we see that all the brackets, they are squared. So here we have always a square sign. First way I want to show you is just a straightforward way. But the problem here, and we will see that, it gets pretty complicated. And if we put a little bit effort directly in the beginning, then there's a little trick we can use. And with this trick, we are way faster, and I think we will do less mistakes. And I will show you now both ways. I start with the straightforward way, and then I will also show you the trick. First, I would like to split this term a little bit and only look at this first part. So here we have a square plus b square minus c square, and this is all squared. Okay, so first we eliminate this square by writing this 2 times. So we have a square plus b square minus c square times a square plus b square minus c square. And now we know how to do that. We have to multiply everybody with everybody. So I start with the a square and multiply it with everybody from here, from the right side. So that then would be a square times a square, which is a to the power of 4, then plus a square times b square. And then we have here the minus, so minus a square times c square. Then I continue with the b and have to also multiply it with everybody here. So that would be plus b square times a square plus b square times b square, which is b to the power of 4. And then we have b square times minus c square, so minus b square times c square. And then we do the same thing for the minus c square. We would then get minus c square times a square minus c square times b square, and then minus c square times minus c square, which is plus c to the power of 4. Great! So we eliminated here the brackets, and now we look at the same parts. We have here a to the power of 4, then we also have 1b to the power of 4, and then we also have 1c to the power of 4. So we have a to the power of 4 plus b to the power of 4 plus 3 to the power of 4. Then let's look at the other terms we have. We have a square times b square here. We also have it here. And this is it. So we have 2 times a square times b square. And then what else do we have? We have here minus a square times c square. And here again minus a square times c square. So this then would be minus 2 times a square times c square. And then we also have here minus b square, c square, and here again. So this then would also be minus 2 times b square, c square. Then after that, I would like to continue with this part here. So it kind of looks quite the same as our first part here, but we do have a minus sign here, and here we have a plus sign instead of a minus sign. But the way we solve this is like the same way as we did here. So for the second part, we then have minus a square plus b square plus c square and everything squared. We do the same way as we did here. So we just write the bracket 2 times. Now we don't forget this minus from here. And then of course, what do? We have to multiply everybody with everybody. We do have a minus sign here, so I will put a minus sign and an opening bracket. Then I put everything inside this opening bracket. So we start with this a square here and multiply it with everybody from here. So we get a to the power of 4 plus a square b square plus a square c square. Then I continue with the b square and multiply it with everybody from here. So we have plus b square a square plus b to the power of 4 plus b square c square. And then I continue with the c square. We get plus c square a square plus c square b square plus c square times c square, which is c to the power of 4. Good. Now let's look at the same parts. So what do we have? We have an a to the power of 4. We also have a b to the power of 4. And we also have a c to the power of 4. So that are all the parts which have a power of 4. Then let's continue with the other parts. We have a square b square here once, then we have here once again, and this is it. So plus 2 times a square b square. And then we have a square c square, and here again. So then we have plus 2a square c square. And then here we also have b square c square 2. So plus 2b square c square. Good. So let's also eliminate this bracket here and the minus sign. So we have to multiply the minus sign to every term inside, which just means that we have to flip every sign. So we get minus a to the power of 4 minus b to the power of 4 minus c to the power of 4 minus 2a square b square minus 2a square c square minus 2b square c square. Okay, and this is it for the second part. So let's jump back to our original term. So we see those two parts, 1 and 2, which we just calculated, they are summed up. So we can here look directly at the results we got and look if there are some cases which, if we can already put them together. So if we look here, we have, for example, here a to the power of 4 and here minus a to the power of 4. So of course they will be 0. So I just throw them away. Then we have the same for the b to the power of 4, b to the power of 4 and minus b to the power of 4. So this will also just be away. For the c to the power of 4, the same thing. Here also the same thing. And here it's not the same thing, so this stays. So this and this will then be minus 4 times a square c square. And this part and this part, they sum up to minus 4b square c square. And then if we look here, so we just calculated those two parts. They are the same as this here. And then it remains this part. So I just copy it. Plus 2ac square plus 2bc square. And this is the same as minus 4a square c square minus 4b square c square. I just copied this first part. And here we can just put this power sign on every single part. So that is the same as 2 to the power of 2, which is 4 times a square times c square. And the same for this part. So this would then be 4b square c square. what do we see? We have here minus 4a squared c squared and here plus 4a squared c squared. So this just is 0. We can throw that away. And then we have here also minus 4b squared c squared and here plus 4b squared c squared. So we can throw them also away. And then the final result is 0. So this is the first way where we just calculate everything straightforward. I want to show you also an alternative way where we can calculate it much faster, but you have to, there's a little trick. So sometimes it's really worth to first look at the exercise carefully. So for the second option, we use a little trick. So let's have a look once again carefully at our exercise. Whenever we have like some terms which are squared, like for example here and here in our 1 and 2, there is something like the binomial formulas. And whenever we have something like this, it's like worth to look if we can see a pattern of one of the binomial formula and then maybe use that. So once again, you all know that here are the binomial formulas. So let's have a look. Do we have something from any of those formulas? Well, here, those parts, okay, they separately look maybe like the first binomial or the second binomial formula, but still we have like 3 parts instead of only 2. We have here a squared, b squared, c squared, so that would be the a and the b. So yeah, we could use that, but we probably had to do it 2 times and it would not save that much of time. Then, okay, maybe let's have a look here. Do we have something like this? That would then mean that here, okay, that would mean that this whole thing would be our a, and we square it, and this whole thing would be our b. But then here in the middle, it would not be right. And we also have like here a minus sign, which we don't have anywhere here. So it also does not look that good. But let's have a look at the third binomial formula. What do we see? We see here a squared minus b squared, which is the same as this one. And now if we have a look once again at our 1 and our 2, we have here something which is squared, and then we have minus this which is squared. So we kind of have here a 1 and 2 is kind of like a squared minus b squared. And now we could put those 2 parts, we could use for those 2 parts, we could use the third binomial formula in the reverse way. So we would go from the right side to the left side. And this is also a very important thing. Do not remember the formulas only in one way. Do not only remember them from the left to the right. Also remember them from the right to the left. It is very useful, as we see here in this exercise. So I try to mark that a little bit. We can put, so we can say, we should not get mixed up now, that this would be our a from the binomial formula. That would be this a. So don't get confused about the 2 a's. We have 2 a's now. We have the a from our term and also the a from which are written here in the formulas, which are not the same. So we can redefine this part as an orange a. And then we can also define a, let's say, a red b. So this part here is a red b, which is the b from the binomial formula. We can rewrite part 1 and 2 in the following way. So I copy them, a squared plus and here we have our orange A, and here we have our red B. So this then is the same as what is written here. It's the same as A plus B. So orange A times orange B. Orange A is this, so it's A square plus B square minus C square plus B, so plus red B plus A square plus B square plus C square. And then here it's multiplied by A, so again the orange A, which is A square plus B square minus C square, and then minus red B, so minus this part. So I just flip all the signs here, so it would be minus A square minus B square minus C square. Okay, so before we now multiply here everybody with everybody, we see that we can put same parts together. So we have A square, which is 2A square. Then we have B square, which is 2B square. And then we have minus C square plus C square, which just is 0. So this remains in the first bracket. Then we multiply it with, what do we have? In the second we have A square minus A square, which of course is 0. Then we have B square minus B square, which also is just 0. And then we have minus C square, which is times minus 2 times C square. Okay, and we see our bracket now is pretty short. So let's continue multiplying everybody with everybody. So I multiply 2A square with this part, which would be minus 4A square C square, and this part with this part, which would be minus 4 times B square C square. Okay, so compared to the straightforward way, which we did earlier, so the first way, here we had to do all those calculations here. Those were the calculations we had to do for the first and second part. And here we just, by using the third binomial formula, we were able to have it here in this short way. Okay, so let's continue now. We have then as a whole, we get this part, which is for the first and the second one, which is minus 4A square C square minus 4B square C square. And then those two parts remain, which are, as we did before, plus 4A square C square plus 4B square C square. And then, of course, we have here, once again, minus 4A square C square plus 4A square C square, which just is 0. And here the same, minus 4B square C square plus 4B square C square, which is also 0. So the final result, once again, is 0. Okay, so what I have shown in the video is sometimes it's worth looking at the terms and try to find a pattern from the binomial formulas and then use them in order to solve exercises quicker, and also you probably will do less mistakes. So we have seen two different ways. The first way was a straightforward way where we just eliminated our brackets with the rules we know, everybody with everybody, and then resorting. And the second way, which is faster, but also you have to look before you start carefully at the exercise and also have to have a certain feeling for numbers and exercises, but if you practice such exercises more and more, and also be aware of the binomial formulas, and before you start an exercise, try to look if you see patterns of those formulas, then you will be able to use those formulas, and then, for example, also be able to see such a way which often is shorter, and you will make less mistakes probably. So thank you very much for your attention. I hoped you learned something, and yeah, I hoped you liked the video. Feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Also have a look, if you want to, in the descriptions, because there you can find all the notes here I did in the video, and you can also find other exercises like this in order to get some practice in simplifying terms. Yeah, so I hope I see you in the next video. Bye!